Hi there, this is Daniel with End Time Country Living, and on this video I am just out in my garden getting my blackberry vines all ready for summer. So here I have my blackberry vine row here, and wanted to just take you along while I do some work out here. It's about 50 degrees out here. What is it, about April 7, and so things they're starting to wake up, they're starting to grow out here, so get working on getting these all cleaned up. So we have new growth like this branch here, or vine, and then we got all these old vines that are dead that need to be taken out. So the first thing I'm going to do is get all the old vines out and getting those all cleaned up, and then I'll go ahead and take the new vines and wind them around the wires here. So this is some grape wire that I have going horizontal. Have one that's about 2 feet off the ground, and then about every foot or so I have another wire that I can use, find out how far out down I can bring it to, and then wrap it around each one like I've done with this one here. So that allows me to not use any ties or anything like that, just to wind them around the wires, and they hold fine. They're fairly tough vines, so they don't just like pop right off again or something like that. Raspberries, you really can't do that too much. They tend to be a little more fragile for number one, so it's easy to break them. And like I have my raspberry patch over there, so I can show you a little bit too. But anyway, wanted to get some work done and bring you along here. So I got one already cut off here. I'm just gonna cut them up into little sections so that they will come off easily here. These don't have any thorns on them, which is nice, but I will still wear my gloves just because they're pokey and keep from getting any blisters. Keep my hands warm too. It's, not the warmest out here, so. Take some of the side ones in here. This always all makes good mulch. So rather than hauling this all off, I'm just going to take a little bit of time to chop these up, the vines up, and drop them here right where they were growing. It's going to take just as much work to gather them all up, go get a cart, load them all up, and haul them off somewhere than it is to just chop them up. And then I get the benefit of not having to go get some mulch or something like that to bring back in to cover the ground. I'll have to do some, but I won't have to do as much. So just cutting it off at ground level here. This guy's a little bit in the way here, so we'll bring him up. Get these little side branches off first. Take these about every foot. They don't need to be super small, but enough so they're not a tripping hazard or something. Yeah, I got these are various sizes. Some are big, like this other one here is super big here. And last year I just went up to about 7 foot, or 7 to 8 feet, I guess. Probably about 8 feet. It's about the top of my reach. And just chopped it off the top there, because when they get too big, they don't bend real easy. You can't really bend something that's almost an inch in diameter. So I just went up there and chopped it off. Then it has plenty of side branches that will produce well. So these are the ones that produced berries last year. And then all this new growth that grew in last year that didn't produce anything, it'll produce this year. So it always produces in the year after it grows, at least on this variety. So this is triple crown blackberries. They produce nice berries that are quite flavorful. I enjoy them, and the fact that there's no thorns also is a joy. When it comes to a job like this would be miserable if this had thorns all over them. Trying to tackle these and handle them and not get poked or scratched and all that kind of stuff, which you pretty impossible not to get scratched or poked at some point. I'm just reaching down to the bottom and clipping them off. We'll see if I can. Now this one has, I've got to watch because some of these are still alive. There's one on this big one here. This big one here, there's a branch off to the side that's still alive, so I really need to be cutting that off. Leave that. Yeah, this one's dead. It's pretty obvious which ones are dead and alive because they're brown inside. If you cut into something and you see green around there, he's like, oops, that one's still alive. Even though it may look brown on the outside, if it's got some green on the inside, that lets you know that it's still alive. Just kind of unwinding these a little bit. Now, on top of this one, we could see that it bore last year. It might bear this year, I don't know. We'll just attach it here, so it means we'll bend it. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We don't want to bend it too much, so we'll put it behind the second one up, and then on the other side, just kind of keep it in tow there. Another dead one up here. Get him out. So this sun looks like it's going to come out maybe for a little bit. There's a little bit of blue sky up there. It'll come through. It's pretty white puffy clouds. Let's see, it's supposed to be 54 is the max. And it's supposed to rain in about 20 minutes. I'm not sure it's going to make it. I don't see really. Oh yeah, I guess over there to the east there's some rain cloud looking things. So we'll see how much we can get done here before it decides to rain on us. And I don't mind too much, but the camera would mind, so I'll have to end the video before it rains. Just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what it's like to get these trimmed up. It's not too bad. It's fairly relaxing, not hard work, just a lot of little clipping, and enjoyable to be outside here and out in the garden. Seeing what vines we have for this coming year. Here's the big one here. So these will last on the ground for quite a few years. If you bend them as you cut, put some pressure on there, they'll snap a lot easier than if you just try to go right through them, or even in an angle. Can't do it, but when I put pressure on it, I don't have to go all the way through. We'll get to some point where I can't get it with these. Oh, there it goes. See? Went right through that. It wasn't even that hard. Just gotta put enough pressure on it and keep trying different angles until it snaps, and then you don't have to go get a pair of loppers to go get it. Which I would get the loppers if I needed to. So let's save it till the end and come back through. Well, the bottom there, I'll go get the loppers and get that one that's super big. And so this one's already starting to get into the ground, so I'll just extract them so we have roots already on here. So if somebody wants them, clip it off here, and then you make it go the other direction, and in this case, I'll just wind him up here. There's another one here that needs to be taken out. So we'll do a little section here for you and get these taken out. Take this one off at ground level. Yeah, it's all these little side branches that make kind of a problem, so just a matter of clipping these guys off. And snap this a few times. I might come through later and use the loppers or something to cut up some of the stuff here, and even just walking on it, break up, just pack down some of this smaller stuff. Bigger stuff obviously is, and here's one here that's stuck in the ground, so I just carefully extract it. In this case, it's wanting to bring much dirt with it. Keep stomping on the edges there until it breaks all the little roots in there. So I guess I'll let it dry out. This one here, let's just, looks like it wants to be on this wire, so just kind of flop it over there first, kind of figure out where it's going to want to start the rotation, and just a wrapping, go keep running it around. And keep going till it wants to stay, and then the end there usually hangs on there, so that's just a nice horizontal that will have some little side shoots, branches, and then start to produce fruit right there where you can just come in there and pick it. And like this one here, we'll just run up on the top one here. It looks like it wants to be up there, wherever's most comfortable for it, but spread them out too. You know, you don't want to have them all on one just because that's kind of where they want it to go. You can force them a bit. You can have them go in both directions. They don't all have to go one direction. Like this one here. Let's see. Well, these two are filled. Like it can come down here. So we'll just bring it around this one here. Go in the other direction, and just like that. This one will just stay there. And we got a couple more over here. Grab those. So decide how low I can go with those. This one looks like it can sit on this wire down here. Just kind of keep wrapping. It's kind of running into this other one. You could always clip them too if they start to get too unmanageable and long. Let's see here, what else? You could even wrap it around the other direction. Put a loop in it. Let's see here, I want to go under. Get creative. Come up and bring it back around on the next one. You can have multiple ones too. As long as they don't get like 5 on one or something, that would be a bit excessive, but okay, and this one, let's make it go this way. And which one's convenient here? This one. This wire here. Just pull it. They're pretty tough, but you know, obviously if you kink them too much, they will break. So, like I just kinked it there, but it'll regrow if you do manage. Just straighten it back out. Keep the kink out of there. So that ran back on this direction. So, then you got some more dead ones here. You could actually break these with your hands too, if you wanted to. Whatever's fast for you. You want to do. So anyway, there's got some more back over here. Let me go around the other side. Okay, so this one's coming straight up. And it's going to be not enough over here, so we want to let's try this at a lower level. It doesn't really want to go any lower. It's trying to resist. Push down as far as you want to go, and if it doesn't want to bend, don't make it. And there's some branches, side branches too. You could run on the lowest one, but whatever works here. Okay, this one. This one's wanting to bend, so let's put this on the lowest one. This one's really long though. This is one of the rooted ones. Okay. So feed it back around. And just clip that off. Doesn't need the roots on there. I can get my clippers out. And let's see here. Let's put this somewhere where it isn't going to root. Throw it on the grass over there. Keep it out of the way. Yeah, so this is going to get just too long, so let's just clip it off. It's running into this other one. So I'm going to clip it right before, so when I clip off the end, I'm going to go down to where there is a leaf, a bud, and clip it right above there, so I'm not have this bunch of little dead stub on there. That's just something you do when you do pruning on trees or anything like that. Keep the last bit as right next to a bud. Okay, we got this one here. Let's go this direction with it. This one's available. Use this wire. Okay, and this other root mass, might as well just get rid of it. Doesn't need to be there. This one's half dead. It's another one of these half dead ones. The top half is dead and it comes alive right about there. It's just kind of sticking out there. It's kind of a pain. I don't know if we need it. We'll just get rid of it. It's attached to this other one. If they're sticking like straight out into the aisle, just get rid of them. Try to prioritize the ones that are going on the side there. This one I'm going to feed through. Try not to knock off the buds. I have leaves on there. Okay. Another dead one back in there. Take off. Okay. So now we decide, probably could use some more along in here. So let's take this one, and this wire right here is a little bit too much, so I'm going to prick it down a few. So it actually wants to bend pretty far, so can I get it on the bottom? Yeah, let's just try on the bottom here. So kind of make a big loop, feed the tip in where you want it to go. Start wrapping. Carefully bring it along. Being gentle. Okay. So this has some new growth and some old growth on there. Leaves from last year, they're really dark and have purple on them. And so these are older leaves. They will even have little brown spots on them. And then there's new growth that's already come out this year. So interesting to see that. So one of the things that this reminds me of is one of the things that Jesus said, that he is the vine and we are the branches. And so you could think of the plants being the vine, and all the side shoots coming up there are the branches. So if I were to cut off all these branches at ground level, they would soon wither and die. So they need the roots, and they need the plant. Usually there's kind of like a ball down in the ground, the blackberries especially, and there's a lot of root mass in there that will hold on. You can cut off all the branches and it'll come up again several times before it finally runs out of energy. So in order to do the mission God is of sharing the gospel with others, God uses us, uses the vines to produce the fruit. But without the original root mass, as in the vine, we are being the branches. The branches can't bear fruit without the vine, drawing moisture and nutrients from the soil. God says, without me, you can do nothing. You can't produce fruit. And it's the Holy Spirit working within us that produces the fruit, the good works, the good character traits. And so that's helps us remember that we need to stay attached. We go off and these branches will look alive for a while, but pretty soon they'll wither and die. And that's what we will if we disconnect ourselves from God and stop praying and stop reading the Bible and stop talking with Him. So we need to make sure we stay connected. So let me take you around and show you a little bit more what the fruit trees are doing here, what I'm also doing here in the garden here. So I got here is my, what is this? This is a gold rush tree out here. So I caught it quite a nice apple, a little more on the tart side. Similar to a Golden Delicious in appearance and storage ability, but definitely more on the tart side, where a Golden Delicious is more of a sweet apple. It's always fun to see the little pink buds come out, and then these will probably be more white flowers once they actually get opened up. These trees here are my Asian pears. I have a Korean giant and Shinko. Yeah, this one's the Shinko here. And then I have this other one here. So they need two for cross-pollination so that they produce fruit. So this one's the Korean giant. It's quite a nice one. I've tasted that one before, a fruit show. This is over at my Melrose tree. It's about 6 years old now. And it's one of my plum trees. Has some brooks grafted onto it, but it's just kind of a seedling one that someone gave me, so it produces small plums. And got my quince tree and a fig tree over here. Little guy there with all the shoots coming up, that's the fig tree. And then got three new trees in the ground this year. So dug a giant hole there, 3 foot by 3 foot or so, and filled it in with amendments plus topsoil. Got all the clay soil out of there. That's one little guy. There's an apple tree. I'm not sure what he is. Let's see. Holstein. So that is a Holstein apple. It's quite a nice one, very flavorful. Like that one. And this is another little apple tree. This one's very hard. There's had a bunch of roots from there's an oak tree right beside that had a bunch of roots in there I had to take out, and a lot of clay soil. So I put in a bunch of topsoil. So this one is an unknown at this point. I don't remember what it is. I'll have to figure it out when we start to get apples. It'll probably be, hopefully I'll remember at some point what it is. It lost its tag. And I got one more up here I'll show you. And this one is, I don't remember, so I put tags on them. Let's see here. So that's a Winston. So never tried it before, but it was recommended. So we'll see how it turns out. But anyway, I had the hole here for quite a while, but never got around to actually getting the hole finished and filled in again. So I finally got that done this year and got a tree in there, so I'm happy about that. This is my raspberry patch in here too. So these have a 2-wire system that kind of has a V shape, so they're wider at the top, further apart at the top, and then they get narrower at the bottom, because that's kind of the habitat of the raspberries, is to come out kind of as a V shape, and that kind of contains them. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me as I take care of some of my blackberries and show you some of my other trees that I'm doing. So anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.